Yo, what is going on, guys? Donphan, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here for the WPL Season 8 Draft Analysis for the San Diego Sneasels. Yeah, I'm back, trying to actually do okay this season. If you didn't watch last season, I think I went 5-7 overall. Pretty terrible season for me. Granted, there were some matches in there, I think like 2 or 3, that I kind of got hexed out a bit. Anyway. Time to actually get onto this draft. So starting off with my first pick, I had first pick overall in the draft, and I went with Coco. Now, I will admit, it's not the best pick for round 1 in the draft, but I knew it wouldn't ever, it's never going to wait till the end of round 2, and it's never going to fall till the end. It won't even ever fall to the beginning of round 2. So if I wanted Coco, I had to pick it now, and I really did want Coco. I really like Coco, and I think it's one of the best mons in draft. I get that there is better mons, but, you know, I think it is definitely up there as one of the best mons. It's very good offensively. You know, you can use it like specs. You could potentially use Banded, because it actually has higher attack than special attack. Although physical Coco isn't that common just due to it not really having much coverage. Special side it has a bit more, but overall it doesn't have the best offensive coverage. It has quite good though. You could also run kind of bulky though. Dual screens roost U-turns a pretty common set I know of Coco, and I probably won't use that too much because I don't think I've ever actually used screens in WPL. I could be wrong, but I don't remember any time I've gone for Reflect or Light Screen. Well, I probably should use them, because they're actually good moves. But, you know, maybe I'll actually use that kind of set for Coco this season at some point. I've also seen some other kind of fun sets. Setup sets for Coco are actually, they're uncommon, but they can work. You're never going to really use Agility, which it gets, but Carmine Coco can actually be kind of threatening. You know, Coco's already quite threatening. Granted, it only has 95 special attack, but at +1 with like a magnet, that's gonna do a lot of damage. And even without +1, it's a really scary mon. Incredible speed tier with base 130, so it's gonna outspeed pretty much everything that isn't scarfed. Or like, there's a few mons, but it is up there as one of the faster mons. Doesn't have great defenses, and HP is kind of low, but you're not really ever going to use this as kind of a bulky mon, unless you even on the dual screen set, which I think has quite a bit of bulk, it's not meant to be a wall or anything. It's still going to die after a few hits. Coco is never going to be a wall, so yeah, that's pick 1. So for the rest of the draft, I pick 2 mons every time I get to pick, since I am wheel pick. So I'm gonna just go with the order I sent them in. So, you know, you can't. Lutra's my second pick, and I get it's not very good round 2, but I feel like it's fine round 3. So, yeah, I think maybe I could have waited on this, because I don't think anyone was going to go for Lutra. Although I believe all the other Tapus had gone at this point, so I was kind of scared someone else would try and go for Lutra here, and then pair it up with one of the other Tapus. And Lutra was a mon I was really hoping to draft as well, because it is just one of the scariest mons when paired with Coco. It doesn't really do as much if it's not paired with Coco or any of the other Tapus, but it can still be scary. But the real set that you're gonna see most of the season probably is the Electric Seed Unburdened set with Swords Dance and 3 attacks, or Swords Dance sub and 2 attacks. I think Acrobatics, High Jump Kick, Stone Edge are probably going to be the moves I run the most attack-wise. However, it does get some other options with moves like Drain Punch, Fire Punch, Iron Head, Poison Jab, Rock Slide. If I don't want to risk having 80% accuracy, I can have 90. Even a Power Hub Sky Attack set could be kind of fun to run, but it doesn't really do too much other than being an offensive threat, which is what I want it for, of course. I'm not really looking at this to be one of the more like bulky mons on my team. But the next mon I am kind of looking at to be one of the bulkier mons on my team, somewhat. My next pick is Mega Sizzle. Now, Mega Sizzle is a really good Mega. I'm honestly surprised it fell to round 3. I figured it was going to go quite early. However, I mean, there were some other Megas allowed that I know people would want. Mega Kang is allowed, but without Estos. Both the Mega Latis are allowed. Mega Marwol's allowed. So I figured it might last till round 3, as it did, which I was really happy with, because this is a really solid mon. Has really solid stats, well, somewhat. Base 150 attack is really good, especially paired with Swords Dance, which is extremely common to use on this, and paired with priority options in Bullet Punch, so that is really helpful. Also base 140 defense though, making it actually an okay physical wall if you really want to go that way. And even if you don't go super physically bulky, even if you have no investment on physical defense, it can still take some good physical attacks. Of course, if anything fire type comes at it, it will die, but anything else it can take pretty well. Base 100 SPDF is not bad. Base 70 HP though, that sucks. I feel like the base 140 defense can kind of bring that back up to be okay, but base 100 SPDF means it still dies to pretty much any special attack. Base 75 speed is kind of bad, but you kind of don't rely on Sizzle's speed. It can take the hit normally and then use its attack, and even if it can't, you do have Bullet Punch right there, so you don't really need to be that fast. And 65 special attack doesn't really affect it because it's never going to be special. So yeah, physical Sizzle is kind of scary. It gets some good options with Bullet Punch, Iron Head Knockoff, U-Turn, Quick Attack. Very overpowered move right there. So it technically does get 2 priority options, although you're always going to use Bullet Punch over Quick Attack. But it can also be a decent defogger. That's one thing I do really like about Sizzle. It's a solid mon to use defog on, and yeah, it can be quite bulky. Has Roost if you want to actually go with a bulky set. Has Tailwind, so if you want to maybe use this to try and gain some speed for some of the other mons on this team. I mean, I don't think I'm really going to use Tailwind. I have a pretty fast team overall. At least the ones that need to be fast are fast. So yeah, that is Mega Sizzle for you. So my next mon in this draft is of course going to be Mykelti. Now Keldeo is incredible. Honestly, I feel like Keldeo is one of the mons that I feel like doesn't get enough love in Draft League. I know, people consider it a threat, but I feel like it is one of the best threats in Draft League, as there really isn't that much that can actually switch into a Specs Hydro Pump from this thing. Base 129 special attack is really good. Base 108 speed is good. I wouldn't call it incredible, but at least it helps you outspeed all the base 100s, and there is a lot of those in draft, so that is solid. It doesn't have good defenses, but again, this is one of those mons that you're going to be using offensively, so you don't really care too heavily about the SPDF and defense and HP. Now, it doesn't get the most options, especially. It's usually going to just be Hydro Pump, Icy Wind, Secret Sword, and then maybe Scald or Surf, or Hidden Power. That's pretty much all it can do, especially. But that's all it needs to do. It doesn't need to have a load of other options, because those options alone are normally enough to just do a lot of work with this mon. Now, physically, it actually gets more options, but again, you're not really going to be using physical Keldeo since only base 71 attack. However, you could. I mean, it's high enough attack to where you could still do a decent amount of damage if run correctly. I mean, it gets okay priority with Aqua Jet, which I feel like could be an interesting option to run at some point this season. I don't think I'm ever going to, but maybe. Maybe you could see Aqua Jet Keldeo actually doing some work this season at some point. So, moving on to my 5th pick of the draft, I realized I needed a rocker. I'm still lacking in one of those, so I'm going to pick up Donphan. Donphan's a really solid mon. I'm honestly a bit surprised it lasted this long. I was honestly expecting Ryan to pick it up a bit sooner, and I feel like he may have picked it round 5 if I hadn't picked it here. So, yeah. Now, Donphan's a really solid offensive rocker, and it also gets spin, which is really solid. There's about 10 ones I think in draft. If you include the little cup ones, I think there's about 10, maybe 15. But if you don't, if you only include like the fully evolved Pokemon, there's about 5 to 7, I want to say. Mons that get both rocks and spin. So this is definitely one of the better ones. I think honestly, only Excadrill is better than it. But it doesn't really need to care about Excadrill being better than it because it's still really good. Now, of course, this is what you're going to normally run with, you know, rocks, maybe spin, and maybe like Earthquake and Ice Shard. But if you want to run this with like just physical attack, and you don't want to have like rocks on this thing, it doesn't need to run rocks. It has a lot, and I mean quite a lot, of physical attacking options. You know, moves like Earthquake, Fire Fang, Gunk Shot, Heavy Slam, Ice Shard, Knockoff, Play Rough, Poison Jab, Stone Edge, Superpower. It has enough options to be a really good threat, and it actually can hit, I'm pretty sure it can hit like everything, neutrally at least. And it can hit most mons super effectively with some coverage. So if I can bring the right coverage and, you know, potentially get it in on something you wouldn't expect, it could work. I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is if I can try, let's say I know a water type is going to be the best switch into Donphan, which it normally would be. I can just have Seed Bomb, and, you know, if I predict that switch right, I could potentially just OHKO the incoming mon that is trying to be the counter to Donphan. Which I think is really incredible when you can KO your counters. Of course, it doesn't always KO them, and you'd have to kind of predict about them coming in to get that. But I still think Donphan's a really solid mon overall, and of course I needed a rocker, and I feel like this is one of the best that was still around. So for the next round, I believe round 6? Yeah, round 6. My pick was Mandibuzz. Now Mandibuzz is a really solid mon overall. Pretty decent defense stats. Base 110 HP is really good. Base 105 defense is pretty solid. And base 95 SPDF isn't great, but it's pretty okay. You know, I'd say base 100 is where you're going to want to have defense stats on mons that are normally going to be kind of bulky. But, you know, I don't really need Mandibuzz to be any bulkier than it is. It's a pretty bulky mon. And, yeah, it's a solid defogger. I believe that's really what I'm going to use it for the majority of the time. Just kind of a defog mon with, like, Roost, maybe Taunt, Toxic. You know, it can potentially Toxic Stall some mons out, which I don't really enjoy Stall, but, you know, I can do that with this, and I feel like it's not a bad way to play it. It's not really ever going to be offensive. I feel like attack-wise, there's only like 3 attacks you're ever going to really see on this thing, those being Knockoff, U-Turn, and potentially Brave Bird, if you do want to maybe use this a tiny bit offensively, or just be able to get some kills if the mons are low enough for you to KO. But yeah, that's about it for Mandibuzz. It's not the most exciting mon, but I do believe it fits on this team pretty well. So yeah, moving on. Superior. Sub was my round 6 pick, and I'm honestly again a bit surprised it lasted till round 6. Now, Sub's a tier 2 this season. I believe it was their last season as well, but I don't know. I feel like it should. I know it used to be tier 1. And I've never really used Sub before, so I figured I'd try it out this season. It's a really, really solid mon. Leaf Storm, contrary, is extremely threatening. You know, it's one of those mons that if it can get 2 Leaf Storms off, or even just 1 sometimes, it can be extremely threatening and hard to take down. And yeah, if this thing sets up, it's scary. And that's something I kind of feel like this team has so far. Mainly this and Lutra. If either of those two set up, it is going to be kind of hard for my opponents to deal with it. It also gets Defog, which is really solid. Another Defog option. That's my 3rd one on the team. Plus, we have Spin on Donphan. Does Coco get Defog as well? Yeah. So, every mon on this team actually has a clearing. I just realized, because Lutra can also click Defog. So, all of my first 6 Pokemon can clear hazards off the stage, if need be. Off the field, I guess. Now, offensive-wise, this thing doesn't have the most options, but it doesn't need them. Leaf Storm is always going to be really threatening, along with potentially Hidden Power, potentially Dragon Pulse. That's kind of what you're normally going to see if it's anywhere near offensive. Giga Drain and Energy Ball, I believe, are the only other special attacks it actually gets. Subseed Superior is also a kind of interesting set that I might try at some point. I kind of like Subseed. Glare is a really good move. You know, 100% chance to 100% accuracy and paralyze. It's T-Wave, just better. And I really like that because I feel like paralyzing enemy opponents is really needed sometimes. And the fact that this is base 113 speed means it's going to already outspeed some of the mons I may want to slow down, so I can get the glare off before they even get a chance to do anything. So then some of my slower mons are going to be faster than, you know, those mons I can hit glare on. So, yeah, that's about it for SERP, I'd say. It gets a few more options that I might use at some point. Taunt mainly, Toxic also. Synthesis is also kind of nice if I do want to run more of a bulky SERP. Again, it's not going to be a very bulky mon, but, you know, I could potentially do like Subseed, Synthesis. It could do something. But yeah, it gets a few physical options, but it doesn't really have physical attack. Base 75 physical attack, which I mean, it's the same for special attack, but when you get a Leaf Storm or two up, it becomes way more threatening on special side. I guess you could say the same about when it gets an SD up, but it's harder to go SD ups, Swords Dances up, because of course they don't attack the opponent, whereas Leaf Storm potentially would knock out the opponent while also giving you a boost. But if I do want to run a physical set, you know, get some options. Aqua Tail, Dragon Tail, Leaf Blade, Knockoff, all pretty solid options. There's a few more moves it can get, but those are the four kind of main ones. So yeah, that is Superior. Okay, so up next is Magmortar. Now, Magmortar, I mainly picked to try and finish off my Water Grass Fire Core. And, yeah, that's pretty much the main reason I picked it. At this stage, my last 4 picks are 2 tier 4s and 2 tier 5s. So, we're not going to have anything else too incredible, but, I actually kind of like Magmortar. It has quite a lot of physical and special. Well, less special, but quite a lot of physical options, a few special options, pretty decent attack and special attack, mainly the special attack at base 125, I believe the second highest on our team, only behind Keldeo, so that's actually pretty scary. You don't want to be taking fire blasts from this thing, and yeah, that's the main thing for this. Also, Belly Drum is really scary with this. You pair Belly Drum and Mach Punch, and you can actually have a really scary Magmortar. So, yeah. And it actually has a good chunk of options, making it actually kind of cool. Now, moving on to our next pick, we have Togedemaru. Now, here's my first tier 5, and it doesn't do much. I don't think any tier 5s really do much. That's kind of the point of them. But I kind of like Togedemaru for a few things it gets. First of all, Nuzzle. Paralyzing enemies is really good, and Nuzzle is really helpful in general. You know, and it's always going to help me get the Parahacks on my opponent, because I will always get the Parahacks, because I get the hacks on all seasons but the last one. Also, Wish is a really nice option for this as well, and it makes me... That's probably the main reason I'd say I drafted this. You know, it gets both of those. It gets like Iron Head, Spiky Shield, Zing Zap, Zen Headbutt, U-Turn. That's pretty much it. It's not got incredible stats. It's got base 98 attack and base 96 speed. So, and that's its 2 highest, which I wish the speed was like 10 higher, or even just 5 higher. If it could creep base 100, I really feel like it could be a bit better, but it doesn't. And its attack stat isn't terrible. It can still hit pretty hard, but it's not like the best there is. But it's pretty solid, and I actually like Togedemaru as a pick, and I'm excited to try and use it this season. Next up, we have Mesprit. Now, Mesprit's my last tier 4. on this draft, and I figured, you know, I only have one rocker in Donphan, so I'm going to change that with my pick here. It's also got Healing Wish, which is really nice, and it's pretty okay. It's got a decent move pool to go from. Calm Mind. Calm Mind could work pretty well on this, as could Assault Vest, as could, you know, a bulky rock set, or offensive rocks, so like 3 attacks rocks. You know, we could also just run like U-turn, toxic rocks, psychic, or healing wish, or something like that. You know, it's got a few options, and I do enjoy it. Also, Trick Room if I ever really want to try out a really slow squad, because my team has a lot of fast threats. But if I physically wanted to, I could run a pretty slow team of like Donphan, Mortar, Mega Sizzle, this, like Togedemaru, Mandibuzz. It wouldn't work very well, but there's an idea for something I might try when I'm either locked in or out of playoffs. If I'm locked in or out by week 12, you could see a Trick Room team with you know, a pretty fast squad in general. I have 7 mons that are slow, and like my best 4 offensive mons are faster, so there's that. But yeah, moving on. Type Null. I don't know why I drafted this. Honestly, it's not really there to do anything specifically. It's not that good a mon, but I didn't really see too much else I was that interested in tier 5. So yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I picked this. I don't think it's that good. I do not believe it's strong. I mean, EVO Light type Null can actually take some hits, which is nice. Base 95 across the board, except speed isn't the worst. It's not terrible stats overall, but I do believe, you know, it's not good. I mean, it clearly isn't. It's tier 5, but I don't think I'm going to use this much. I would honestly say I would be surprised if I'm going to use it even once, considering, you know, I feel like this is going to be my Alolan Sandslash with this team. Alolan Sandslash was on my last team, and I did not bring it to a single game. There was also Ariados on that team, which I believe only came to 1, maybe 2 games. So that might be Togedemaru this season. But yeah, that's my full draft analysis for this season of the WPL. Now, our week 1 opponent is DS Gaming, coach of the Birmingham Vulpix, I believe. Is that? Yeah, that's his team name. And, yeah, I'm pretty afraid of that matchup because he's the Season 6 champion. He made playoffs in Season 7, and he has a pretty scary team with a lot of threats on it. Megazard X is really scary, and some other stuff. I'm not going to talk too much about that, of course, because, you know, he could potentially watch this. So, yeah, that's that. I will see you on, I think, the 10th for that video. Yes, week 1 goes live on the 10th. I'm not sure when this is going up, but yeah, I'll see you for week 1 on the 10th. I don't think I'm going to do team builders, although I'm considering it right now. So maybe you'll see a team builder on the 9th. Not sure, but we'll have to see. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. So, yeah.